Hi, I'm Mike from Modern Samurai, and today I want to talk about kicking, and in particular a roundhouse kick. I'm aiming this at the beginner and the lower grades that are still trying to get to grips with this, but I'm still aiming this at higher grades that have developed bad habits. Now, if you think about this as a complicated kick, you have to think about turning your body, turning your hips, getting that knee high. Where's your foot going? Whether you're going to hinge your knee, whether you're going to come in with a straight leg, whether you're hitting with your foot or your shin, your balance and your guard. There are lots of things to get right on this kick. And to expect somebody to come in and just be able to do that kick and get all of those things right is impossible. It's hard enough when you're a few grades into that kick. Still trying to get all those things in sequence is a hard thing to do. So for as long as I've been teaching, I've tried to think of one thing that can help in doing a kick. Just focus on that one thing and how that one thing can help all those other parts of the kick. And in my experience with the roundhouse kick, that one thing isn't necessarily the foot or the leg you're kicking with, but it's the foot that's on the floor. Now, before I start getting into this, I want to talk about what we're trying to achieve with this kick and the impact. And I'll try and demonstrate that with my trusty friend. Baseball bat. So here's the baseball bat, aka my leg. This is the target I'm trying to kick. Okay? Now, ideally, I need to come in to the target at 90 degrees. So I'm hitting it there. That should ensure the strongest impact against that target. It's coming in at 90 degrees. As soon as I start changing that angle, I start coming up and coming up, I start to get deflection. And I can go higher and the kicks just start bouncing off to the point when there's just virtually no contact at all. So when we're doing these kicks, what we're trying to achieve is a 90-degree impact there. That is no more powerful than that as far as the effort I'm trying to put in. But the difference is obvious. So, let's go back to someone who's just started kickboxing and they've yet to get all these different aspects of the kicking. And typically, they'll come up and they'll be either kicking a pad or they'll be kicking this bag, and they'll stand there, there'll be no guard, and they'll be sloppy and they'll just go, yeah, that was nice, right? Now I can't kick this thing hard, I'm in my kitchen, there's no water in this thing, but it doesn't matter. They'll come in and they'll do this. The person holding a kick pad, like so, may end up holding it like this, which is really bad. Because that sort of football kick will impact nicely against a pad that's held at this angle. And you think you're kicking great, but you're not helping this guy at all. Whoever's ever holding this pad needs to come here, so that that kick is landing on the target as if it were a person. At the end of the day, with this angle, what the fighter is not going to do is stand like this and say, right, now kick me. Well, a football kick would be lovely, coming up like this, straight to my chest, straight to my face. That's not the case. The guy you're sparring with or fighting is going to be here. He's going to be upright. Okay? Which brings me to the second problem of this kick. As well as deflection, whereas if someone comes in with a roundhouse kick off the back leg, it will come in and it will bounce off here. Or, maybe worse, it will come in straight against those elbows. If you've got a tight guard, and that's how I like to fight with a tight guard, that foot is going to hit my elbow. and my foot's going to win. Or their ankle's going to hit it. Or their shin's going to hit it. Now, unless you're a Thai fighter and you spent years killing all those nerve endings in your shins, that pointy elbow is going to win. Right? I've lost count of how many people have tried putting kicks into me, hit my elbows only to limp away. And when I was starting this, I did exactly the same. I've limped away with bad feet, lumps on my shins. I've even broken 3 toes getting this wrong and hitting elbows. So this angle, if you're coming up here, is really bad for that. The other part of this kick coming up an angle is if you're going for the head, if someone's got their guard correctly and they're all tight up here, right? Look at this big shoulder in the way. Look at the shoulder in the way there. Look at all this guard here, all in the way. A kick coming up from that angle is not going to make contact. It's just going to deflect off an arm or bang into an elbow. You need that kick to be coming in this way. That way, if you do a kick and it's coming in at this angle, it's going to hit the outside of the elbow. If the guard is there and he's blocking his body, it'll hit the outside of the arm and the outside of the elbow, and that's not going to hurt. If you're coming in the right way here, on a head kick, that kick can come over the top of the shoulder. So coming in at this 90-degree angle is really going to pay off, other than a kick that's coming up, hitting guards, deflecting off. It's not a good kick when you're coming up like a football kick. So what's the one thing which I think helps with this kick and lots of the aspects of this kick? Okay, so I'm going to use my chair here because I'm going to be holding this leg out for quite some time and you don't want to see me hopping around my kitchen. Okay, so we go back to a normal kick that a beginner might do, a lower grade, and they'll be coming up like this. And you can see from that kick, it's coming up from an angle. That's coming up from here and it's just deflecting. Now, if I stay in this stance, I can't possibly kick with the correct part of the foot that I'm supposed to be kicking with. The correct part of that foot is the instep, which is here on this part of the foot, and the shin. Now, depending on where you're kicking, the style of fighting you're doing it, a roundhouse kick should be landing anywhere from here all the way up to there, right? What it shouldn't be doing is landing on the inside of the foot here, because that won't work. And for me to get this 90-degree angle to impact here, with that type of kick, I'd have to come and bring it across like that. And that is no good for my knees because you are stressing that knee in the wrong direction. Your knee was never designed to bend that way. So what's the one thing with my students that I say to focus on a roundhouse kick? And that's the foot that's on the floor. So consider this position here. You're in stance, there's your opponent, and you're kicking like this. Now, see what happens when you go from this angle to that angle. So what you're doing is you're taking this foot that's almost pointing forward in stance and you are turning it there, almost facing backwards. Then the angle of that kick can come in at 90 degrees to the target. You also hit it with the correct part of the leg, the shin or the foot. You can turn that leg and that's the kick coming in. Okay, so this particular technique applies to everyone. It applies to low kicks, mid kicks, high kicks. That part of the technique stays the same. It applies to whether you're kicking off the back leg or whether you're kicking off the front leg. That foot changes and almost points backwards. Turn your body, turn your hip. So the angle at which you're hitting the target, the part of your leg that's hitting the target, the position of your body, the position of your hips, all of those things can be automatically fixed just by that one thing, turning that foot to that position. Okay? Now, another thing about this is that it's the same if you're doing a low kick. So if you're coming in and you're doing a leg kick here, right? It's even more important because look at the angle of that leg. When I'm in stance, I'm here, the angle of that leg there, this kick needs to be coming downwards to hit at 90 degrees. And that's what the Thai boxers, the leg kickers of this world do. They will turn their hips around so far that that leg swings through and starts coming down to hit that thigh muscle. All right? It also counts that if you're doing a head kick, that position is the same. So it makes no difference. By getting this foot round, you can get up to a high kick and get over those shoulders a lot easier. Something that's impossible if I was not taking that foot around, I just end up coming up this angle and it's a useless kick. So just think about that. Foot that's on the floor, turn it round, and then you can practice your kicks. Low, medium, and high. And the only difference between that range is your flexibility. Beginners can start off just getting this kick nice and low. And as they get more flexible, they can bring this kick high. It also doesn't matter whether it's a semi-contact kick, a point scoring kick where your destination for the kick is the pad. And you come out and you just score a point. Or whether it's a contact kick where your destination is the other side of this pad and you're kicking through. And you hit the leg. So your leg will be bent when it strikes because your intention is to kick over to here. So whether it's a contact kick, point scoring, low or high, the foot that's on the floor, in my opinion, is the one single thing that helps you progress with that kick. The next videos I'm going to be doing will be a front kick, followed then by a side kick. And I'll be doing exactly the same, focusing on one thing you can do in that kick, which helps the entire kick. Thanks, I'll see you next time.